Right, guys, how we all doing today? I'm doing good. I'm in my Rip Curl towel onesie. I just went for a surf. It was bloody cold. Anyways, what I want to talk about today is Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. I've seen the first 2 episodes. Wow. That's straight out the bat. Wow. What can I say? There's so much to talk about here. I'll start off by just pointing a little background for me. As a kid, I always loved Lord of the Rings. Like, I watched the Peter Jackson movies. And I never read the books, but before The Hobbit came out, the first movie, I read the Hobbit books. I've only read the Hobbit book. And after the Hobbit movies and watching Lord of the Rings, and instead of reading the books, because I was a bit lazy, I would just rewatch the movies and watch a lot of lore videos online. And so I'm in the middle between between hardcore and casual. So I mean, I know a lot of the lore, but I haven't read many of the books just because sometimes I get very bored. I'm very lazy with reading. But anyway, what I want to talk about, the Rings of Power. So far out. They're both an hour-long episodes. I was wrong. I thought it was going to be around the second age. I thought it was going to be around just after Sauron had been defeated. Because in the original, if anyone's seen the original Lord of the Rings movie, there's a intro scene where Galadriel was giving a monologue about how the rings were made and how Sauron was first defeated. I thought the Rings of Power were going to be set just after that. Just the way the trailers were made, I was like, okay, it's going to be about just after that. But no, this is basically set just after Morgoth, the original Dark Lord, Sauron's master, who he was like a lieutenant for him, which is awesome, by the way. It's set just after the defeated Morgoth. It's been a time since Sauron's fled, so pretty much everyone during that age has pretty much like gone, well, end of the first age, pretty much thinking evil is out of Middle Earth and they're living in a time of peace. But Galadriel is not satisfied. She thinks Sauron is out there. So it's pretty much set before the rings are made. And there's so much going on. Like, they have characters from, like, all the elf characters. So they have Elrond, a young version of him. They have Galadriel, a young version of him. They have a character who, if you've played Shadow of War and Shadow of War, and Shadow of Mordor, Celebrimbor, which he wasn't mentioned much in the books, I don't believe, but they brought him in to the show, which I am stoked about. This show has the highest budget for a show in any show ever. $1 billion. $1 billion. And believe me when I say it shows, man. It shows. Like, the look of it alone, I'm like sitting there, like, I wish this was like in the movies or something like that. I got to get high definition because I'm looking at, I'm like, far out, this is incredible. First episode, pretty much just trying to build up, tell you what's going on this time. Because in the Lord of the Rings, it's a fantasy universe, so like there is so much to show. So they're trying to, pretty much first one, they're just telling you what's going on, telling you all the characters and trying to set up what's going on, like the world at that time. And the second episode, they're just trying to push the characters into the storylines they're going. So there's a lot of characters going in different directions right now. But I believe, because there's 8 episodes, like it's all going to come together eventually. But first episode, just building. Second episode, just kind of getting characters along. I'm not spoiling anything else. I don't think I spoiled anything at all. I've got to say, it is incredible. This show is awesome. It's worth the watch. My favorite storyline right now is probably Galadriel's one because that's the most action. But it's a good mixture of special effects and costumes and everything. Like, feels like that was the problem with The Hobbit. I reckon it was so much CGI that like sometimes it was hard to get into it. But I love the story. But I think this is a great mix right now. I'm so excited to see what happens. I can't wait for the next episode. The characters are awesome. They have like a good setup. They brought back old characters and bring new ones in bring Celebrimbor into it is awesome. I'm excited to see where the story is going to lead. We all know the rings are going to come into it eventually, but how long, I don't know. They have the dwarves in it, they have humans in it. I'm just excited to see where this goes. Like, out of the 2 hours, a lot happens, but yet not a lot happens. It doesn't make a lot. Like, a lot happens in the sense of building characters and setting up shit. But at the same time, like, it's still getting there, if you know what I mean. Like, it's still got a lot to progress in. That's a quick overall, my opinion. Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power is must watch if you like Fantasy World or like Lord of the Rings in one little bit. Get Amazon Prime, the 30-day free trial, and watch it there. That's what I'm doing right now. Thank you guys as always for watching the video. I'll probably come back after the next couple of episodes or just at the end of the season. Probably a few more episodes is what we'll do. Thanks guys. Have a beautiful day. Catch ya.